If you ever pretended to smoke candy cigarettes and drank from a wax Coke bottle, you had the best childhood. Disclaimer: this program contains dangerous content such as riding bikes without helmets, sitting in a truck bed, eating candy cigarettes in 1983. For your safety, all children have been replaced with stick figures and possibly squirrels. Proceed with caution and laughter. Welcome back to the show. I'm Akorn, and this is Gen X and Millennial Meme Fridays, where we take a totally unnecessary amount of pride in surviving dial-up and Tang. Let's get into today's show, starting with this week's pop quiz. In the original Tron, what was the name of the computer program Jeff Bridges' character created? If you think you know, drop it down below. I'm mad teachers told us if you don't do well in school, you're gonna be the garbage man, and never told us that the garbage man made more than them. Yeah, very true. This guy is point blank refusing to let go of the 90s. How many of you guys remember when they had those style handsets? They'd plug into the port on your phone and convert it into a household handset, basically. I wonder if they have them that'll work with USB-C now. When you're listening to someone's story and can't relate because you're not stupid. Yeah, pretty much. They should let everyone on hold with customer service talk to one another. They won't do that because everybody would be complaining about the company that they're calling and why they're needing customer service to begin with. If you remember doing this, you had an awesome childhood. Yeah, Gen Z thinks they're funny, don't they? They just need to watch my Sunday show. Therapist. You often use humor to deflect serious trauma. Thank you. I didn't say that was a good thing. What I'm hearing is you think I'm funny. Yep, pretty much. I never called you stupid, but when I asked you to spell orange and you asked me the fruit or the color, it kinda caught me off guard. That's a lot worse than not knowing how to spell it. Terrence Stamp, General Zod in Superman films, passes away at 87. The world made more sense when folks waved from the porch instead of arguing online. Every conversation we had since we were kids. You good, dude? Yeah, I'm fine. Just have to walk it off. Ain't it funny how the days we couldn't wait to grow out of are now the ones we miss the most? If you're wondering why the children in the memes in this video have been replaced by stick figures, then please go watch last Sunday's show, as I go over it in full detail about why I was forced to do these things to reduce the risk of breaking YouTube's guidelines. Here is a few clips from a bloopers reel from Back to the Future.
This nailed me. Took the book, he drove away in his car.
His car in his car?
Yeah.
Damn, well, which way?
Because you want to cut because it's limp again.
Damn it, fly, get a grip on yourself. Holy shit! Give me a milk. Chocolate.
Doc, you gotta listen to me! I better love you! Good night!
You gotta listen to me, you gotta listen to me. Cop it.
And the award for the creepiest vanity plate goes to It'd actually been pretty funny if somebody had that plate back in the 80s. Age test. If you ever asked your dad for help with your math homework and he whipped out one of these, how many retirement brochures have you read lately? Forget about the retirement brochures. How about AARP? You get 10 seconds on the intercom with no filter. What are you saying? And keep it clean, guys. I think I would announce that everything in the store was free, but only for the next 10 minutes. What would you guys announce? Who knew back in the 80s while you were playing with this, you were training for this? I never had that Sesame Street toy, but unfortunately, my weekly prescription organizer has 2 rows, one for morning and one for night. The Childhood Anxiety Starter Pack. Out of these 4 listed here, I think Hungry Hippos is the best, although the others are good too. Back some time ago on a past show, I showed a similar meme as this one here, and I said this should be the energy drink for Gen X. Well, apparently this guy thought the original formula would help his knees and joints too. This is the lollipop equivalent of smoking a cigar. That's actually kind of a good description, because it sure as heck don't taste like root beer. Kids here are trying to scour the internet to find out what this is. The worst thing is, you can buy meat grinders still today. You can even go to Walmart and just go over to the hunting section usually. Now this right here is a washer I'd actually like to have these days. It'll sure work a heck of a lot better than the stuff you find in the stores today. At 98 years old, Mel Brooks is stepping back into gold robes and pointy ears to reprise his role as Yogurt in Spaceballs 2, 36 years after the original. For anyone feeling down, just remember Velveeta cheese has been on the market since 1918. If that trash cheese can succeed, so can you. For anybody that loves Velveeta, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you like trash cheese. You have to admit, though, whether it's Velveeta or the off-brand, that kind of cheese did make a really great grilled cheese sandwich. Sometimes I wonder if all the stuff in my life is happening because I didn't forward that message to 10 people. Yeah, way back in the day when chainmail made the big leap into the modern era on the internet. Might even been some of the first emails you ever received. Do you ever just flex your foot wrong and it cramps? And you're just like, this is it. This is how it ends. Well, I never thought that, no. But my right leg that I broke about 6 years ago makes it feel like it just got stabbed with a knife sometimes. But at least I can still walk. You know you're getting old when this thing has been completely useless for 25 years. Yeah, and that almanac only covered 50-year period, and it's been out of date for 25 more years. Wrestlers in the 80s would be named Rudy the Heartthrob Roberts, then look like this. You have to admit, they're not really wrong. Gamers in the 90s. Wow, everything in this game looks so real. The game. Actually, that looks a lot better than any of the games in the 90s. Once I start smiling in an argument, go ahead and call the police on me. Today's pop quiz question was, in the original Tron, what was the name of the computer program Jeff Bridges' character created? The answer is Clue. I'm just sitting here wondering how I never noticed there's a turd in Saturday. I never noticed that either. How many of you guys had already noticed this? And for all of you who also didn't notice it, how could we be this old and not already know this? My wife, why are you pulling over? Hand me the phone. We're on the freeway. Hand me my phone. Yep, you only got one shot at it. The decline of civilization can be traced back to when they stopped putting toys in cereal boxes. Maybe, but I think it started a long time before that, though. Kimberl Middle School. Congrats, Mrs. Vaughn. Cougar of the Month. How I feel when I have to scroll down to the year I was born. It's getting that way. 28 floppy disks were needed to install Windows 95. How many disks did Windows 3.1 take? Regardless of either one, I know it was a lot more disks than what it took to install DOS. This guy's gonna stay cool, or he just ain't gonna mow. And I'll be honest, I can't blame him, especially as hot as it's been for this past month or so. No matter where you go in the world, even if you have riot shields, the power of a mother with a slipper is feared by all. My 5 moods. I'm too old for this. I'm too tired for this. I don't have time for this. I'm too sober for this. I don't get paid enough for this. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Remember having to defrost the freezer? Remember, I have to defrost my freezer that I have now. What's the first movie or TV show that comes to mind when you see Woody Harrelson? I had a TV show because I'm going with Cheers. What's the first show you guys think about? When I was a kid, we used to slide down baking sheets fresh out of the oven. Usually they were still in the oven. If you know what this is, you're a genius. Well, guys, how many geniuses do we have out there? Should be quite a few on this channel. I was just minding my own business, then bam! Turns out 1975 was 50 years ago. Yeah, time passes way too quickly. Might as well get August started right. How many of you guys remember these? I think I remember seeing something similar, but it was probably a good number of years later. I'm so old, I once got a phonograph record on a cereal box. And so it begins. Only the very best generations will get this. Definitely was one of the classics. You won't believe the things your kids will learn with a computer. Yeah, they can use it to make more memes. I wish the good days lasted longer. Mondays were canceled, everything was on sale, and morons had warning labels. Yeah, wish it was possible, especially the first and the last one. We thought our parents were so hard on us. Turns out they were just keeping us from being dumb. Fact check true. This is the most gangster stuff I've ever seen. Our customer put a gold chain on her life alert button. She said if I'm slipping, I better be dripping. Are we taking notes yet, guys? The Breakfast Club returns to theaters this September for its 40th anniversary. You know, I just mentioned a few weeks ago that since they're losing all the money in all these remakes and reboots, that they should just go back and play the original classics. Because there's a lot of people who would probably go to see those movies just because they're back in theater. Since then, this is at least the 3rd movie, I believe, that I've seen them say is coming back to theaters. That layer of static you felt when putting your hand on an old TV screen. Now that is actually something I had forgotten about. This actually does seem to be true for some reason. The further along we get in the year, the faster the months pass, especially when there's things that you need to get done before winter comes. We were always outside as kids, weren't even forced. They had to force us back inside. Yeah, very true. The next time that there's somebody you know who's sick and they're sipping on some chicken broth, just tell them that's just meat tea. For some reason, that just makes it sound so unappetizing. Probably more so if you already weren't feeling good. And I just noticed the chicken feet in this photo. That's just disgusting. Anybody that has chickens, you know what they're like. There is no way that I would ever use the feet to make broth or anything else. A visual representation of how coffee works, more or less. And I'll end today's show with this. We didn't have cell phones, but somehow every mom within a 5-mile radius had a PhD in telepathy and a subscription to the Neighborhood Gossip Network. You could blink wrong, and your parents knew before you got home. If you guys agree that this was true, then hit that like and subscribe. Also, if you're already a subscriber, double check down below and make sure that you are still subscribed. I've been receiving more complaints from viewers saying that they had been unsubscribed from the channel. Some said that they didn't even know there had been new videos because they hadn't received any notifications, or that they just happened to see one of the new shows on their YouTube homepage. I've mentioned this before in past shows, and it seems to be happening every so often that a number of people get unsubscribed. So always double check down below and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Also, if you want to receive notifications, then you have to click on the bell and select all notifications. I'd like to thank all of our channel members, super thanks, buy me a coffee, those ordering merch, and all of my subscribers and viewers for your support, because this channel is only made possible by viewers like you. And that brings us to the close of today's show, but I'll see you guys back here on Sunday's show. Until then, I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.